Now we are starting a lesson. Its title is Work, Energy and Power. In the previous classes, we have discussed all these things and we are familiar with these things and its related formulae. But here in this lesson, we are dealing with the vector nature of the work, energy and power also. So we know the work, we know energy and we know power. Then generally, if you want to do some work, we should consume some energy. This energy, the consumption of the energy will be in a form of applied force. That means if a force is applied on a body, then the body will move towards forward or backward with respect to the direction of the applied force. Then we can say that the body executing some work or body does some work. So energy is nothing but the ability to do work. So we know that power is nothing but work done per unit time or consumed energy per unit time. But here, before going to discuss the vector forms of all these physical quantities, we should find out what is vector product. In this lesson, we have scalar product or dot product. Let us take two non-zero vectors while they are inclined with respect to each other by an angle theta. If we multiplied their magnitudes with the angle between them or cosine of the angle between them, that is called scalar product or dot product. So the explanation will be like this. Let us say these are the two vectors. They both are separated or subtended by an angle theta. It has some ijk values. It is also having some ijk values. These two vectors are separated like this. These two are non-zero vectors. If these are the non-zero vectors, the vector product is just the magnitudes of the vector, where I, j, k are the unit vectors along the x, y and z axis. We know that. They are unit vectors along x, y and z axis. Magnitudes means the value which is just before the unit vectors. Let us suppose 5i plus 2j plus 3k. This 5 is the magnitude along x-axis, 2 is the magnitude along y-axis, 3 is the magnitude along z-axis. So if you multiply the magnitudes with respect to the or with the association of the cosine of the angle between them. So therefore, suppose if two vectors are AB or A bar dot B bar is equal to AB cos theta, where AB is the product of the magnitude, where cos theta is the angle between the two vectors. This scalar product has some rules to follow. What are the rules? So let us suppose A bar is equal to AXI plus AYJ plus AZK, where IJK are unit vectors. We can write caps. The cap symbol is the representation of unit vectors, and like this B bar is also some BXI cap plus BYJ cap plus BZK cap. In scalar product, A bar dot B bar is equal to, so what is A bar? AX I cap plus AY J cap plus AZ K cap dot BXI cap plus BY J cap plus BZ K cap. The rule to be followed in the scalar product or dot product is the adjacent angles product is maximum. If any two angles or any two vectors which are perpendicular to each other, the product is 0, because the angle between the vectors is cos theta, where cos is maximum when two vectors are parallel to each other, but cos is 0 or minimum when two vectors are separated by 90 degrees. So the product is maximum between adjacent or parallel vectors, and the product is 0 between the perpendicular vectors. Between the perpendicular vectors. So we can write I dot I is equal to 1, j dot j is equal to 1, k dot k is equal to 1. Whether it is I dot j or j dot k or k dot I, 0. I dot I is equal to j dot j is equal to k dot k is equal to 1. Apart from that, I dot j is equal to j dot k is equal to k dot I, or maybe in the reverse order also it will be 0, because I, j, k are mutually perpendicular to each other. So we can write A dot B as AX BX I cap plus AY dot BY J cap plus AZ dot BZ K cap. This is the product. So we have discussed that I dot I, j dot j and k dot k is 1, where the product between the two perpendicular vectors is 0. The third one is the scalar product may be negative also. So the scalar product or dot product may be negative. When this case is negative, yes, if two vectors are anti-parallel to each other. The meaning of this is A bar is minus B bar, where minus indicates the opposite in the direction, where equal to indicates the same in magnitude. And opposite in direction. So what we can understand from this, if this is the case where cos theta is 180, cos 180 is minus 1. So in this case we will get the vector product or dot product of the scalars may be negative also. So these are the rules which we can include in the vector product. What is another rule? The vector product or this scalar product or dot product obeys the commutative law. Dot product obeys the commutative law. So what is the meaning of commutative law? P dot Q is equal to Q dot P. So we can keep the bar symbols to represent as vectors. And this dot product obeys the distributive law also. So what is the distributive law? P bar dot Q bar plus R bar is equal to P bar dot Q bar plus P bar dot R bar. So this is called distributive. So we can multiply like this. So P bar dot Q bar plus R bar is equal to P bar dot Q plus R bar. So like this we can see the list of obeying or non-obeying of the laws. These are the properties about the scalar product. So we know that A dot B is equal to mod of A bar dot mod of B bar into cos theta. Modulus is nothing but the magnitude. So cos theta is equal to A dot B by A bar dot B bar. So A dot B by A bar dot B bar is equal to cos theta. So the component of A bar in the direction of B bar is in the direction of is equal to A dot B by B bar. Same, the component of B bar in the direction of A bar is in the direction of A bar is A dot B by A bar. So these are the rules we can follow to do the multiplication or product of vectors or scalars. This A dot B by A bar dot B bar you can write like this: AX BX plus AY BY plus AZ BZ by mod A dot mod B. So these are the rules to be followed in the scalar product. Now we will apply the scalar products or vector products to the physical quantities. Now we will see the examples of scalar product with respect to the title of lesson. Of scalar product. So the first example is work done by a force. So a force is applied on the body. There are two cases. First, at the A, take a horizontal plane. This is the body. A force is applied on the body which is already in rest. Because of the applied force, the body was moved to some distance. When it is moved, this is the initial position of the body before the applied force. This is the final position of the body after applying the force. The distance from initial position to final position in a short way is called displacement. So the work done by a body or by a force is equal to W is equal to force into distance. The product of the force applied to its corresponding displacement or distance traveled by the body is called work. So therefore W is equal to F bar into S bar. You can write F dot S. Whether it is a dot product, here it is not cross, it is multiplication. Whether it is a dot product, the way to express is W bar is equal to Fs cos theta, where theta is the angle between the two vectors or two physical quantities. See, the body was traveled or moved in the direction of the applied force only. So the vector of the force and displacement of the body is along the same line. These two are said to be parallel lines which is on the same horizontal plane. So if these two vectors or these two physical quantities are in the same horizontal plane, we can write theta is equal to 0 degrees. Therefore work done is equal to F dot S. This is the one of the example by the work done by a force. In another way, if a force is applied in one direction, the displacement is another direction. Let us take some billiards game or a caroms game. Sometimes we will see the oblique collisions on the with the carom striker or carom snooker. So this is the applied force. With respect to that, here the object is, and after that the body was moved in this direction. Here also theta. So here also we can say W is equal to F dot S, nothing but Fs cos theta. It is maximum when theta is equal to 0. 0 when theta is equal to 90. So these are the rules and these are the examples for the scalar product. The first example is work done by a force. In this we have finished the work also. So here we are seeing a problem which is useful to apply the scalar product. So find the angle between force F is equal to 3I plus 4J minus 5K per units and displacement S is equal to 5I plus 4J plus 3K unit, and also find the projection of F on S. So F is equal to 3I plus 4J minus 5K. S is equal to 5I plus 4J plus 3K. So we should find out the angle between them. So we know that F dot S is equal to Fs cos theta. So therefore cos theta is equal to F dot S by mod of F into mod of S. So we should find out all these four and we should substitute in cos theta. So therefore F dot S is equal to 3I plus 4J minus 5K dot S is equal to 5I plus 4J plus 3K. So 3 into 5, where I dot I. All remaining I dot J, J dot K, K dot I we can vanish, we can remove it because it is useless, 0. So 3 into 5, 15 plus 4 into 4, 16 minus 15. The 15 and minus 15 will get cancelled, 16 units is F dot S. Mod of F is equal to square root of Fx square plus Fy square plus Fz square. So what is Fx? 3. 3 square plus Fy 4 square plus Fz minus 5 square. So it will be 9 plus 16 plus 25. So 25 plus 25, 50, it is square root of 50 units. So next we should find out the magnitude of S bar also. So it is also square root of sx square plus sy square plus sz square. So therefore square root of where sx 5 square, where sy 4 square, sz 3 square. So it is square root of 25 plus 16 plus 9. 25 plus 16, 41 plus 9, 50. So it is root 50 units. So therefore cos theta is equal to f dot s by mod of f bar dot mod of s bar. F dot s is 16, mod of f is root 50, dot mod of s is root 50. So it will be 16 by 50. So if it is 16 by 50, therefore cos theta is equal to 0.32. Theta is equal to cos inverse 0.32. So we should find out the projection of f on S. So f cos theta is equal to f dot s by s bar. F dot s is 16, s bar is root 50. So that is equal to f cos theta. So cos theta is equal to 16 by root 50 into f. So that will be the answer. This is the projection, or we can say this one as the projection of f on S. Like that we can solve the scalar product problems. The next concept is units and dimensions of work. So what is the SI unit and CGS unit? SI unit we will see first. Work done is equal to force into distance. The SI unit of force is Newton. The SI unit of distance is meter. So Newton meter. But 1 Newton meter is equal to 1 joule. So the SI unit of work done is joule. Joule is the SI unit of work done. So 1 joule is defined as if 1 Newton of the force applied on a body when it is moved to 1 meter distance, then the work done by the body is, or work done by the force is 1 joule. So what about the CGS unit? Again work is equal to force into displacement or distance. CGS unit of force is dyne. Distance is centimeter. So it will be dyne centimeter. But 1 dyne centimeter is equal to 1 erg. Erg is the CGS unit of work done. So 1 erg is equal to 1 dyne centimeter. That means if 1 dyne of force is applied on a body, then it is moved to 1 centimeter distance. The work done by the 1 dyne force is 1 erg. So 1 joule is equal to almost 10 to the power of 7 ergs. We can prove this by dimensional method and equation method also. Next, the dimensional formula of the work. So we know that if you keep any physical quantity in square brackets, that is nothing but the dimensional formula of that physical quantity, is equal to force into displacement. The dimensional formula of the force is mLt power minus 2. The dimensional formula of the displacement is L. So it is mL square t power minus 2. This is the dimensional formula of the work done, where the dimensions of mass is 1, dimensions of length is 2, dimensions of the time is minus 2. Now we will see the different types of works. So now we will see the types of works. First one is positive work. That means the magnitude of the work done is positive. When it will be positive? The first example we will see. Suppose if you applied the force on a body which is already in rest, the body will move in the direction of the applied force. That means force and displacement are in same direction. If force and displacement are in same direction, then these two are said to be parallel vectors, then the work done is positive. Cos theta, therefore it is Fs cos 0 degrees, therefore Fs. This is said to be positive case. The case of pushing, pulling, these all are examples of the positive work. Pulling is also towards the object, means direction of the force is towards, object also moves towards. So pushing and pulling are the examples of the positive work. The next example is negative work. Yes, if force and displacement both are in the same direction, it is positive, but force and displacement, any one are anti-parallel to each other, that is said to be negative work. We will see one example. Suppose if force is applied in forward direction, the body should move in opposite direction. Generally, this case is not possible, but some cases which are forces, virtual forces which are not in our imagination, those causes to the negative work. That means we are applying the force in forward direction, but it is work done in the opposite direction. What are the examples? Tug of war. One party will be one side of the tug, the second party will be in the second side of the rope. If one pushes, this will be a pulling for the other party. If one pulls, this will be a pushing for the another party. That means pushing and pulling, they both are balanced by each other in opposite directions. That's why it is said to be negative work. Second one, friction. Work done by frictional force is always a negative work, because frictional force is a virtual force which is not visible to our imagination, but it is always doing some work against the applied force on the body. So here in this case, W is equal to F dot S, it causes to Fs cos theta. So where theta is anti-parallel, that's why cos 180. Therefore W is equal to minus F dot S. So force is applied like this, displacement is like this. The vectors will be like this. This is said to be negative work. The third example is zero work. For this zero work, there are many cases. Yes, we will see this. First one, W is equal to F dot S is equal to 0, because work done is 0. Because F dot S is 0 means either F is 0 or S should be 0. If the force is not applied on the body, no need to consider this case, because the main reason behind the work done by the body is applied force. Force is not applied. But we can write the same situation in different way. You applied the force, but displacement of the body is 0 because frictional force and moment of inertia is also playing key role. F is applied, but S is 0. What are the examples? What are the cases to execute the S is equal to 0? Of course, if the F is not sufficient to move, inertia, friction, these are all the cases where we can see the work done is 0. We can see the second example for the 0 work. Suppose some of the villages, if you see any RTC bus, that on the top of the bus, if the vegetables are carried or any luggage is carried, the luggage which is on the top of the bus is fixed tightly by a rope, with the help of a rope. Here the bus is moving in one direction. On the luggage which is placed on the bus, two forces are acting. One is gravitational force, one is normal force. Another one is frictional force between the luggage to the top of the surface of the bus. This is the applied force, nothing but the direction of the force of the bus. This is the luggage. On this luggage, gravitational force is acting downward, normal force acting upward, which balances the gravitation. Frictional force is acting between the surface of the luggage or down of the luggage to the surface of the bus. In this case, because of the tightly fixed rope, the luggage won't move. Means if luggage is not moving, work done on luggage by a force is 0. On a luggage by a force is 0. Because these all forces are cancelled with each other, that's why net force is 0. So net force is 0. So here force is applied, but due to the surrounding forces which balance them in opposite directions, net becomes 0. In this case also, work done on that luggage is 0. So like this, we can see the classification of the works done. So next one is work done by a force by graphical method. So what we can understand is the work done formula is F dot S. Whether a physical quantity is a product of two physical quantities, we can take the graph like this. There are two ways to draw the graph. Suppose if you see the formula, velocity is equal to displacement by time, speed is equal to distance by time, acceleration is equal to change in velocity by time. In these three formulae, the relation is a division, but here the relation is a multiplication. In case of division, the slope of the graph is y by x. So the y by x is nothing but, suppose if it is distance by time. So if the formula is distance by time for speed of the body, where distance is in the numerator, time is in the denominator, the physical quantities which is in the numerator should be taken on y-axis. The physical quantities which are in the denominator should be taken on x-axis. This is the rule for a physical quantity which is a result of a division. But here the physical quantity work is a result of multiplication of two physical quantities such like force and distance. In this case, there is no rule like this. You can take F on x or y axis as well as distance on x or y axis. So we can take F, yes. So if this is the graph, if the work done is uniform for 1 Newton of the force and 1 meter of the displacement, you will get a graph like this. So this is area occupied by the shade of the graph. Let us suppose if this area occupied by the graph or the shade of the graph occupies any rectangular shape or square shape like this, we can take the area of that particular geometrical shape, then that will give the work done by the body. So as well as let us suppose if this occupied some rectangular shape. So let us suppose the origin is O, this is P, this is Q, this is R. In this case, if the graph is shaped like this, work done is equal to area of the graph. Now the graph is in a rectangular shape, so it will become area of rectangle. The name of the rectangle is OPQR. Force represents this column OP, S represents this column OR. Therefore, W is equal to OP into OR, where OP represents F, where OR represents S. Such like this, we can draw the graph and we can derive the relationship between the work, between force and displacement with respect to the graph. This is the graph for a force which is applied for single time, means a constant force. If the force is variable, there may be a chance for the change in the shape of the graph. This case is called work done by a variable force. We will check now. Now we will see the work done by a variable force. That means force is not constant. Once it is not applied and it is constant throughout the motion, it's not like that. Force is continuously changing. So for that case, this might be the graph. So along this direction it is F, this is S. So the body was moved from one point to another point. So in this point it was under the variation of the force, or it is applied to the variable force. In this variation, let us take a small variation. This is P, this is Q, this is R, and this is S. Where PQ is in the direction of force, where PS is in the direction of S. So this PS is the small displacement. Let us say the displacement is dx. So the amount of work done in moving this small distance will be dW. In moving the small distance, dx will be dW. So therefore, dW is equal to F dot dx. So total work done will be integrating on both sides, where differentiation is taking a small element from a big one, where integration is extending the small one to the bigger one. So total work done is equal to integral dW is equal to integral F dot dx, where positions are xa to xb. So the differentiation and integration will be cancelled out. Therefore, W is equal to F of x into xa to xb. Therefore, it will be F of xb minus XA. So this will be displacement. Initial position, final position minus initial position of the body, that is said to be displacement. So W is equal to F into S. So in case of variable forces, it is better to take a small element of the length, then we should extend that length to the higher limits, from lower limit to higher limit, such like XA to XB. Let us suppose this is position A and this is position B. XA to XB. Here we have one problem is there to understand the concept of work done by a constant force or variable force. The concept of the problem is a block of mass 5 kg initial at rest at the origin is acted by a force along the positive x direction represented by 20 plus 5x newtons. Calculate the work done by the force during the displacement of the block from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to 4 meters. So we can say that mass of the body, actually in these type of problems, to find the work, mass is not needed to calculate because it is a differentiation or integration method of the problem. So mass is 5 kg and the displacement is from 0 to 4 meters, where force is 20 plus 5x newtons. So work done is equal to dW is equal to F dx. Total work done is equal to integral dW is equal to integral F dx between the limits 0 to 4. So 0 to 4, where F is 20 plus 5x dx. So we can separate these two, integral 0 to 4 20 dx plus integral 0 to 4 5x dx. So in this case, therefore work done is equal to, this will be 20x between the limits 0 to 4, or we can write the square brackets. This will be 5x square by 2 because 5 is a constant, x dx, integral x dx is x square by 2. So therefore it is 5x square by 2 between the limits 0 to 4. So this will be, in place of x, we should substitute upper limit minus lower limit. So 20 into 4 minus 0 plus 5 by 2 into 4 square minus 0 square. This is 80 plus 5 by 2 into 16. So 80 plus this 216, 8 times, 5 into 8, 40. Total will be 120 joules. So like this we can find out the work done by the force, whether it is a constant force or variable force. Here we are doing the integration, that's why we can say that it is a variable force. Finally we will get 120 joules of work done. The next concept is power. To understand this concept of power, let me give one example. There are two motors, motor 1 and motor 2. Both are switched on at the same time. These two motors are connected to two overhead tanks. This is tank A, this is tank B. The tank size should be same, that means the capacity of the volume should be same. Let us suppose the two tanks which are of the same capacity, which are at the same heights, they are connected to the motor 1 and motor 2 respectively. These motor 1 and motor 2 are switched on at the same time. But of course the capacity is same, but the tank A was filled earlier than the tank B. Maybe it is a minute, maybe it is 2 minutes, maybe it is 3 minutes, whatever it may be. If it is a 1 second also, it is earlier time. So what we can understand from this explanation is, this motor 1 has done some work or some more work when compared to the motor 2. That means its capacity to do work is more in a given time when compared to the motor 2. So the power is defined as the rate of work done. Or rate of means divided by time, so therefore work done per unit time. Work done is similar to the energy consumed, therefore it is also written as energy consumed per unit time. So power is equal to W by T or E by T. This is the definition of the power. But we know that this is one of the formula. But we know that W is equal to F dot S and T is T. So in place of W we have written F dot S and divided by time. So this can be written as F dot S by T, where S by T is nothing but the velocity or speed of the body. Therefore it will be written as Fv. This is one of the formula. This is the standard formula. If this F and V are separated by an angle, then this will be written as P is equal to Fv cos theta, that is equal to F dot V, where force and velocity are parallel to each other, are in the same plane or same lying plane. If force and velocity are perpendicular, power will be 0. Force and velocity are in the same plane, then power is maximum. Now the units and dimensions of power. Power is equal to W by T, where the unit of work done is joule, where the unit of time is second. But 1 joule per 1 second is 1 watt. So the SI unit of power is 1 watt. Watt may be defined as like this. If 1 unit of work done, that is nothing but 1 joule of work done in 1 unit of time or 1 second of time, then the power of the object or the machine is 1 watt. If 1 joule of work done in 1 second of time, then the power is said to be 1 watt. The symbol is capital W. This is the SI unit, as well as CGS is also there. The CGS unit of power is horsepower. Horsepower. In symbols, it will be represented as HP. But one's horsepower is equal to 746 watts. So this is the conversion from CGS system of units to SI system of units. This is the power. So where power is equal to energy by time or joule work by time, these are the units. Next, the dimensions of power. The symbol is in square brackets, we should keep the P is equal to, as we know, work by time, where work is ml square T power minus 2 by T. Therefore, it is ml square T power minus 3. So power has one dimension in mass, two dimensions in length, minus three dimensions in time. Such like that. The next concept is efficiency of motor. As input we are supplying some power, as output we are receiving some power. The ratio between the output power to the input power into 100 is called efficiency of the motor. The symbol is eta, where eta is equal to output power by input power into 100, where output power is PO, where input power is PI into 100 is equal to eta. So the total input power is Pi is equal to Po by eta into 100. So this is the formula for the efficiency of motor. This is the formula for total input power. Here the problem which is based on the concept of power. A machine gun fires 360 bullets per minute and each bullet travels with a velocity of 600 meters per second. If the mass of each bullet is 5 grams, find the power of the machine gun. Therefore, number of bullets is equal to 360. This is said to be n. Velocity of each bullet is 600 meters per second. If the mass of each bullet is 5 grams, so nothing but 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg, because we should convert all the values in same system. We should find out the power, where power is equal to work by time or energy by time. Whether work by time means we should say that F into S by T. So we should find out the F again, ma, where mass is there but acceleration is not there. So what we can understand in this question is, we can say that where this work or energy, which energy a bullet can possess? A bullet can possess a different velocity that is called kinetic energy. So there is a way to solve this problem, where work is equal to Fs by T, where F is equal to mas by T, where m into what is A? V minus U by T into S. So this will be power is equal to m into V minus U into S by T square. So power is equal to, where mass of the body is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg. Bullet is fired with a velocity of 600 meters per second. Initially it is 0. So therefore final is 600 into, where S is the distance travelled by the body. We should find out the distance. By time is 1 minute, means 60 seconds. If we do this calculation, we should again find the distance S. What is the way to find out the distance S? V square minus U square by 2S, or S is equal to UT plus half AT square. So it is again a complication, because one physical quantity is related to another physical quantity. That's why rather than using this formula, it is better to use energy by time. So which energy this has? Kinetic energy, because the bullets are under the motion. So therefore E by T. So half mv square by T. Therefore n number of bullets are there, that's why it is nmv square by 2T. So the power is nmv square by 2T. So n is 360 number of bullets, m is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg, v is 600 whole square by 2 into per minute means time is 60 seconds. So therefore 60, 360, 6 times, 2, 6, 3 times. So 3 into 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into this is 6, 6 are 36. Therefore 3 5s are 15 into this is 36 into 10 to the power of 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Therefore 1536 are 540 into 10, 5400 watts. It will be written as 5.4 kilowatts. This is the power exerted by each bullet which is crossing per each minute with this velocity. The next concept is energy. What is energy? The capacity of doing work. Means if you want to do work, we should consume our energy. That energy is applied in a form of force, correspondingly displacement takes place, work will be done. So the energy is called the capacity of doing work. Is called energy. So energy and work are related to each other. So as we discussed earlier, the dimensions and units of energy are same with as work. So therefore, SI unit of energy E is equal to joule. Dimensional formula E is equal to ml square T power minus 2. These two are same. There are many types of energy, different types of energies. First is mechanical energy. Second one, electrical energy. Third one, nuclear energy. Fourth one, chemical energy. To be continued. There are various forms of energy, but we are not going to discuss all these, but we are discussing about this mechanical energy. This mechanical energy is again classified into two types. First is potential energy. Second one is kinetic energy. Now we will discuss this potential and kinetic energies in detail. So what is potential energy? Potential means it's a self strength of the body. Means some objects have some self strength in the bodies. So these self strength bodies has potential energy. So what is the way to define in clarity is, it is a type of energy which possesses by a body by virtue of its position or state. It is a form of energy which possesses by virtue of its state or position is called potential energy. Possessed by virtue of its state or position. Virtue means having. So what is the state and what is the position? For which state and for which positions a body has potential energy? So let us suppose, take two objects. This is the ground level, which are at different heights. Means these two objects, irrespective of their masses, they are placed at different heights from the earth. So these two are the positions of the body. At these two different positions, these two have different potential energies. That is said to be by virtue of position. What is by virtue of state? State means shape, whether it is a solid, liquid, gas, whatever it is said to be state of the body. So let us suppose take some elastic objects. So what is the elastic body? Elastic body means a body which can regain its original shape in the absence of external force. What is the reason? Inside the body, internally, there is some energy is actually applying or rejecting the applied force. That force is called restoring force. This restoring force is caused by the potential energy of the body. So this elastic body can regain its state. That is said to be potential energy by state or shape. If it is with respect to the position, this energy is called gravitational potential energy. If this is with respect to the shape or state of the body, this is said to be elastic potential energy. So what we can understand is potential energy is a form of energy. It is again classified into two different types. Gravitational potential energy, which is by virtue of position. Elastic potential energy, which is by virtue of state or shape. This potential energy is possessed by some objects. What are those objects? Objects placed at a height, like mountain rocks. Some of the mountain rocks are still observed to be stationary with respect to the earth. So that is one of the example, mountain rocks. The electrical appliances which we are fixing at the top, these are also having potential energy. Second means objects which are placed at height, any object, whether it is natural or fixed. Second one, we can say that some water which is stored in a top reservoir. Water is stored in overhead tanks and reservoirs. Third one, stretched objects means the bodies which exhibits the elasticity. Like this, we can understand the concept of potential energy. As we discussed earlier, potential energy has two types. One is gravitational potential energy. Second one is elastic potential energy. We will see the expression for gravitational potential energy now. So the expression for gravitational potential energy. For this purpose, we should take an object which is at a height from the earth. This is the earth's surface. The body is at a height. This body has mass some m. Let us consider the body is freely falling. So this body of mass m is freely falling towards the earth under gravity. So what is the work done for this freely falling motion? work done by the body under freely falling. The general formula of the work done is F dot S. By which force the body is freely falling? Gravitational force. That means this F will become gravitational force into how much distance it is traveling? Nothing but it should cross over all the height. It is already at the height of h. It should cross over all this distance to reach the earth. That means distance traveled by the body is nothing but the height. So therefore gravitational force is mg, height is h, work done is mgh. So work done by this body when it is freely falling under the gravity is stored in a form of potential energy. Therefore we can write this one as potential energy is equal to mgh. If mass and g are constants, potential energy is directly proportional to h. If mass and h are constants, potential energy is directly proportional to g. If g and h are constants, potential energy is directly proportional to mass, because g is variable, means it is actually 9.8 meters per second square, but there is a variation in the g with respect to the altitudes and the depths. Here a problem which relates to the concept of potential energy. The problem is a vehicle of mass 1000 kg climbs up a hill of 200 meters high. Find the potential energy gained by it, where g is equal to 9.8 meters per second square. So therefore mass of the body is 1000 kg. It is traveling to a height of 200 meters. We should find out the potential energy. As we know that potential energy is equal to mgh, where m is 1000, where g is 9.8, where height is 200. So it will be 200 into 98 by 10 into 1000. So this will be, this 10 and 1000 get cancelled, so it will be into 98, 20,000 into 98. Therefore 98 2s are 196 into 4 zeros. So it will be 1960 into 10 cube joules. So therefore 1960 kilojoules. This is the potential energy of the body where it is climbing to the 200 meters height of mass this much. Next we will see the expression for elastic potential energy. This elastic potential energy, so we should take elastic body to execute the energy. So let us take a spring. The spring is initially freely hanged. Next it is connected to a mass. The first diagram, the second diagram is like this. Next it is connected to a mass. Once it is connected to a mass, when it is suspended like this, we will see the oscillations of the spring. Oscillations is nothing but to and fro. So where it is fro, it is said to be expansion to compression. That means it will oscillate like this. It is the expansion maybe. We are showing in dotted lines because it is the expansion. It is not the original position of the spring. It is expanding within the limits. Next, it is compressed again. like this. In this case, this is the original distance or original length of the spring. Once it is expanded, it was expanded up to here. Let us take this one as some x f, final position. Next it is compressed. Let us say this is xi because it is coming to the initial position. The force which results this expansion and compression under the applying of load is said to be gravitational force, but this gravitational force should be overcome by a force within the spring. That force is called restoring force. Because of the restoring force, the spring can able to do the to and fro oscillations, and again it is coming to the initial position. If restoring force is not acted in the spring will be in compressed motion or in the expansion mode. So restoring force is the key role. Let us take the restoring force F is equal to minus kx. So what is the work done in this compression to the expansion of the spring? Therefore, let us take the small displacement this is from xi to xy, SF under the load applied. Therefore, the work done dW is equal to F dot dx. Total work done integral dW is equal to integral F dot dx. The positions xi to xf. We know that F is equal to minus kx. If it is restoring force, we can write it Fr. So therefore, W is equal to integral minus kx dx xi to xf. If you wrote minus k outside, it is integral x dx xi to xf. Therefore, it is minus k into xf square by 2 minus xi square by 2. Because integral x dx is x square by 2. This x square by 2 under the limits xi to xf. So this will be half kxi square minus half kxf square. So the general expression is half kx square. So what we can understand, whether the body is acting under the restoring force, work done is half kx square. The work done in these type of bodies is stored in a form of potential energy. This potential energy is called elastic potential energy. In our textbook, this question was given as work done by a force or spring. So what is the work done by a spring? To do the oscillations under the to and fro motion under the influence of gravitational and restoring force, it is written as potential energy. Which potential energy it is? Elastic potential energy, where half is the constant, where k is the spring constant, x is the displacement. Like this, we can derive the elastic potential energy formula also. Next, the concept is kinetic energy. So what is a kinetic energy? What we can think about it? If the body is in rest, its velocity is 0. Suppose if a force is applied on the body, this body will move forward by increase in the velocity. Whenever the body is under the motion, it is moving with the velocity. So the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion is called kinetic energy. The energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion. So it is having motion, so it has kinetic energy. It's called kinetic energy. This is called K dot E. So what is the expression for this kinetic energy? We will take the same example to find the expression for the kinetic energy. This is the body initially at rest. A force is applied and the body will be in motion with a velocity. From here to here, this is initial position, this is final position. The distance traveled by the body from initial position to final position, let us say S. So at this position its velocity is u, while it is moving to a distance its velocity attained by v, and the change in velocity with respect to time is acceleration, and it has traveled to a distance of s. So the physical quantities that are involved in the motion of this object in this straight line under the force F is initial velocity u, final velocity v, distance traveled s, and acceleration a. So the kinematic equation of motion which relates these four is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. The kinematic equation of motion which relates u, v, a and s which are involved in the motion is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Let us say u is equal to 0. Therefore, v square minus 0 is equal to 2as. Therefore, s is equal to v square by 2a. This is the expression we got. What is the work done in moving the body? Work done in moving the body. W is equal to F dot S, where F is equal to ma, where S is equal to v square by 2a. A and a get cancelled, you will get half mv square. This half mv square is the work done in moving the body from one position to another position by describing all the quantities. This work done is stored in a form of kinetic energy. Therefore, Ke is equal to half mv square. So the expression for the kinetic energy is half mv square. Here the problem which is based on a concept of kinetic energy. So what is the matter of the problem? In a ballistics experiment, a police officer fires a bullet of a mass 50 grams with a speed of 200 meters per second on soft plywood of thickness 2 centimeter. The bullet emerges with only 10% of its initial kinetic energy. What is the emergent speed of the bullet? So therefore, mass of the body is 50 grams. So it is nothing but 50 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg. Speed of the body is 200 meters per second. It has emerged with some kinetic energy, we know that. But after emerge with only 10% of its kinetic energy. So what is the emergent speed? So we should find out Ki, nothing but initial kinetic energy first. So therefore, Ki is equal to half mvi square. Therefore, half, so what is m? 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Into what is vi? 200. Vi square means 200 square. So it is half into 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into 40,000. because 200 into 200. So it will be 20,000 because 40,000 by 2 is 20,000. So 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3, this will be 20 into 10 cube. So this 10 cube and 10 power minus 3 will be cancelled out. So it will be 50, not 5, because it is 50 grams. So therefore it will be 50. 20 into 50, 1000 joules. This 1000 joules is the initial kinetic energy of the bullet. When it is emerged out, it is losing 10% of its kinetic energy, or it is emerged out with only 10% of its initial kinetic energy. So therefore, final kinetic energy Kf is 10% of Ki. So Kf is equal to 10 by 100 into 1000. So 1000, 110 times 10 into 10, 100 joules. Final kinetic energy is 100 joules. If final kinetic energy is 100 joules, what is the emergent speed of the bullet with the same mass? So therefore, Kf is equal to half mvf square is equal to 100 joules. So therefore, Vf square is equal to 200 by m. Vf is equal to square root of 200 by m. Therefore, final velocity or emergent speed is equal to square root of 200 by, what is the mass of the body? 50 grams, means 50 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Therefore, it is square root of 200 into 10 cube by 50. This 50, 200, 4 times in 200, 4 times cancelled. So it will be 4 into 10 cube means square root of 4000. So therefore, it is not the approximate root. Approximately it will be 63.2 meters per second. With this velocity, the body or the bullet is emerged out of the bullet.